All right, it's 5 o'clock, and today we're talking about goal setting. And today, Adishri is going to share with us 5 secrets to achieving your goals. She's an author and the founder of Live by Design, and she's going to tell us all about it, how she came up with this idea, how she came up with this concept. But I think the main thing is if you're committed to live your best life, this session is definitely for you. We're further focused on helping you how to achieve your goals by providing an action roadmap for goal success and overcoming the struggles that every individual faces. The two big ones, and I would like to hear from you which ones are the ones that you face, but at least research shows, or at least what I've read from Adishri's website, is that it's focus. And the second one is time management. If all of you feel those are the ones, but I'd like to understand from you too, which are the ones that you think that what is it that is really holding you back from achieving that goal? And I'm really looking forward to our conversation today. So Adishri has been on many platforms, including IIT, Ficci Flo, and many, many more. So it's very, very exciting because I think a lot of people are struggling with the same issue. So Adishri, a very warm welcome.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Sukirti, ma'am, it's an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
So let's get started. And my first question is always, because you've said that this is to live your best life. So I want to hear from you, what is your best life? And how do you define what is best life?
Ma'am, so living the best life for me is somewhere where I'm in harmony with myself and in harmony with the environment which is there around me. And when I say that, it is all about how to create that. It is all about, those days that I live mindfully and consciously, where I'm aligning my actions towards my goals. Those are the days which I count amongst the best days of my life. So yes.
Very nice. So there's a little bit of mindfulness also in having that best life. So what made you really think about creating this goal planner? I mean, what was it that drove you?
Ma'am, so when I started my entrepreneurship journey, I found myself struggling with time management and focus. Those are the two things that you also mentioned, having seen on my website. And unfortunately, these are life skills which, like money management, are not taught to us in our formal education system in our schools and colleges. And as a result, people often, after completing their education, they end up venturing out to read books for themselves and, entering into personal development programs, coaching, in search of those life skills which can kind of equip them to live the life of their dreams. And I myself also found myself in a similar position. I did a lot of coaching programs with the top coaches in the country, business coaching, personal life coaching. But, during the course of those programs, what I found was that, there was an abundance of knowledge which was available. Knowledge is abundantly available. But to convert those knowledge into actions, to use that knowledge and implement into our daily lives was somewhere of a struggle that I was dealing with constantly. So that is where, keeping all those things in mind is when I set out to kind of, look out for action tools which could help me kind of create a structure in my life wherein I could take all those learnings and implement and get results. Seeing a gap, since there weren't any tools of this sort available in the market, is when I decided to make them for myself. And after 7 years of research is when I finally it took me 7 years, yes, to actually come up with this action system, which I now call the Live by Design Goals Journal, the Goal Planner. So yes, that's a short journey towards building it up.
Wow, that took a lot of time. So tell us specifically about the issues that women face, because we focus a lot on them. And because you've done a lot of these and you do a lot of these sessions, do you feel that their challenges are a bit different? And guys, I'm going to come back to you. What is it that's stopping you from achieving your goal? Do you also feel it's focus, it's time management? What are those other things? Because there are 5 secrets and we've only covered 2 yet.
Right. So, ma'am, in our goal setting workshops, we actually discovered that the participants, during the course of those workshops, they were discovering the importance of having clearly defined specific goals in their lives. Right. They discovered that not having specific goals in their lives, they were actually missing out on, realizing their full potential, to unlock the true power of their potential. That is what the participants were missing out on. So the importance of goal setting is something that participants are discovering, through our workshops. And Also somewhere the work-life balance that women today kind of struggle with, and that comes from the soul, when we're not able to prioritize in terms of what direction we want to go towards, because that is something that we are living our lives on default modes with no clear defined directions, no clear goals. In that scenario, we end up struggling with work-life balance because we don't know how to balance our actions, how to prioritize towards creating that balance in our lives. So these are some of the challenges.
Now, one of the questions that always comes up, that when we are so planned, do we kind of lose ourselves and lose that serendipity, lose that aha? Does it really limit us?
So, ma'am, I think having a plan only and only just empowers us. It kind of gives you that confidence that you end up, if you were to approach a situation without a plan, you would have a different way of approaching it. Whereas comparing to having a plan, you would have a different confidence. Of course, plans meander. Life does not go with, according to what we plan. But that confidence which comes in yourself when you have a plan in hand, that is different. And that kind of accelerates the consciousness and the mindfulness in that journey, which is required to get the results that you're looking for.
Because a lot of people like to say, I'm too chill, and to be... I just take life as it goes, things just come to me, the universe will deliver.
Right. There's a clear demarcation between things that we can control and things which are outside our control. So it's the planning part only focuses on those that we can, and the rest is something that, of course, goes, based on the mindful preparation that you have.
Awesome. So I will turn it over to you. Let's get started,
Wonderful.
And like I said, we have a very quiet crowd today, but I'd love to hear, like I said, what are those things that are keeping you from achieving your goals? Do you have clearly defined goals? If they are, what are they? If you'd like to share, that'll give us a little bit more structure. And we love to hear your thoughts as we go along.
Wonderful. Great. So, ma'am, as you also looking for, even in our sessions, we generally have our chat boxes.
Do you have a slideshow mode? Sorry.
Yeah. Is it visible? Sorry.
No.
Yeah. I've put it on. Let me try that again.
Meena saying, thank you for the beautiful session. Meena, we want to hear about your goals and what is stopping you from achieving it. So the slides are achievable. There we go. And hopefully, there we go. I think now it will come.
Right.
There.
So
that's awesome. Because if you're like me, I'll be looking at all the other slides also. Stella says hi, and Meena says many things are stopping. And hopefully, Meena will get to all of those things and a way to deal with it today.
Great. So guys, welcome once again to today's goal setting session. Of course, about me, I am Adishri Anand. I'm an entrepreneur and an author, and Sukirti ma'am has already kindly introduced me. My book, Live by Design, is a book on supply chain management. I also have a supply chain consulting venture. And this book talks about the 5 costly supply chain mistakes that companies make, which are burning their profits. So for all the entrepreneurs who are there in the session today, you may check it out on Amazon. So great, let's get straight to the agenda for today's session. We're going to be starting, as promised, with a self-assessment test to help you all discover what is it that is missing in your goals planning. What is it that what actions are missing in your goals planning that is keeping you away from the success that you desire. We'll then be summarizing this self-assessment test in terms of the 3 concrete reasons that you must look into if you want to speed track your success journey. Thereafter, we are going to be touching upon the 5 techniques that you can use to make your goals simple. And lastly, I will be presenting to you an action plan to implement the 5 techniques. So great, let's get started. And the first question of our session today is, friends, do you have goals? I invite you all to write in the chat box and let us know, do you have goals in your life? So great, Sukirti ma'am says yes. Let's have the other participants. Right. All right, so everybody has goals. It's great to see. Wonderful, wonderful. That brings me to the next question, which is, what are some of the common challenges, friends, that you're facing in your goals journey? I invite you to unmute and share what are some of the challenges that are stopping you from achieving success in your goals.
And if you'd like to share, please do raise your hand. We will unmute you.
So I think Seema.
Seema, great. Go ahead. I'm going to ask you to unmute. Go ahead, Seema, and then Meena. Go ahead.
Yes, please.
Go ahead, Meena.
Hi, thank you so much for providing this opportunity. So I just want to be very honest in my questions, because I don't want to, make it like I am already very much organized and only few things are there which is stopping me. I guess there are so many things which is coming inside the goal. I mean, for my goals, like sometimes we do have more personal responsibilities or challenges which don't provide us more time. As you in the beginning have mentioned, that time management.
Right.
So I guess, yeah, that is actually very much important, but sometimes that actually happens that we can't give that time also for the goal, because we have something like I lost my father and my mother is there. So now the thing is, like, my brain cells are more active that I have to take care of my mother. Earlier it's like, we were so much for granted for the life that we never know these things will happen. So the life has little turned, as we have seen in the COVID. Like, these are as you said, that there are things which is not in our control. So health issues sometimes which delays our goals. Financial things, if like a girl on like I'm running in my 30s, so like the marriage thing is always there. So do I have to keep the money for my further studies or for the marriage thing, because I am the eldest person?
Meena,
and
I'll give you a simple answer to that. When you get married with zero money also. So
oh, thank you so much.
we're going to come back to all of them. So Meena, I'm going to take a lot of the answers that we're getting, but I'm going to come back to you because I'm going to answer that question of yours. But we're getting a lot of answers. I said loosely defined. Stella says time management. Sujata says time management. Neha says consistency, time management. And I think what even Meena was pointing to, the conflicting goals. I think this is one of the big challenges, because we want to be a great mother. So we don't know whether I want to put my money into my focusing on my marriage or my career. So this conflicting path. Amita says success and motivation. So Meena, we're going to come back to you, and hopefully I'm going to unmute you again in a little bit and see if we get some clarity on your goals by the end of this workshop.
Great. So yeah, thanks for sharing, Meena. I think, of course, work-life balance and time management is something that kind of derails us from our goals journey. So thanks for being honest and sharing your thoughts wholeheartedly. So friends, that brings me to the next question, which is, I want you to ask yourself, all of you here, do you find yourself making big goals in your life and then later you're giving up on them as they seem hard work? Or are you finding that your goals are taking so long to achieve that they actually leave you stressed or unsatisfied in your life? Please mention in the chat box situation number 1, 2, or both. Which of these are you facing in your life? Okay, so Situation ma'am says B. Okay, the second one. All right, let's have more participants mention in the chat box which of the situations, the challenges are you commonly dealing with. Got it. So it's a mix of answers. Goals are seeming like hard work and they're also taking too long to achieve. So friends, would you be interested in knowing what is at the root cause of these challenges that you're facing? I invite you to unmute and let me know yes or a no. Would you be interested in knowing what is at the root cause of all of these challenges that you are facing in your life? Please unmute and share.
They won't be able to unmute. They can just type yes, yes,
okay,
yes.
So please write in the chat.
If you want to unmute, please raise your hand.
Right. So guys, would you be interested in knowing? Got it. So Amita, Stella, Sakirti ma'am. Okay. So guys, let us find out what is it that is delaying your success. I invite you to take a short self-assessment test. the link of which I've just put down in the chat box. It is a 2-minute test wherein each question has 2 responses. Once you submit the test, you're going to be receiving a score out of 100, which talks about your planning and your preparation for your goal success. So make sure that when you enter your details, they are correct, because you will be receiving the scores on your WhatsApp and on your emails.
Can you also go through what are the type of questions for those of us that are not on the page?
So those are questions regarding the goals that you have set in your life, and in terms of the preparation and the follow-ups in terms of progress management that you're doing. So for those of you who've just joined in, I've put in the test link again. I hope everybody is able to access the test link. If not, please let us know right now.
While people are filling that out, maybe you can give us some idea as to why is it important and what is the type of information that you need to think about.
Right. So the questionnaire itself actually is going to be quite an eye-opener for most of you, because you're going to realize what is it that is missing in your daily actions. What is it that you need to take on going forward, right? In terms of putting in place in your structured action system in order to be on top of your goals and be aligned with them. So great. Tanushree shares time management. As you finish the test, mention in the chat box completed, so that we know that you have received your test scores. Let us know. And also do share your test scores in the chat box. This is not able to hear.
Please log in again.
So for those of you, we've just had a couple of new participants who've come in. We are taking a self-assessment test, the link of which is there on the chat box. So please click on it and take the test, and you'll receive the scores in your emails and your coordinate details that you enter. Make sure you enter the correct details so that you can receive the scores. So everybody's gone into introspective mode. So friends, once you finish, please mention in the chat box. Okay, so Stella is done. Let's have you share your scores. I hope everybody's received them. So has Meena. Okay, so Prasoona has shared a score.
I'm asking Stella to unmute so she can give us a little bit of idea of how it was also.
So the scores are going to be coming in your emails if you've entered the correct details.
Neha is done.
Okay, so Prasoona has already gotten a score. Let's have the participants share their scores. Let's see what it is like. Don't worry even if you have low scores, friends, because the very reason of today's workshop is to help you improve your scores and take your life to the next level. So don't stress. Okay, thanks for sharing. All right. Got it. So would you guys be interested in knowing what these scores are signifying? Yes or no in the chat box? Let's hear it. Okay, I'm getting a couple of direct messages with the scores as well. Thank you for sharing. Right. Oh, that's lovely. 100 on 100. You are a super genius, Stella. Right. So friends, are you interested?
Also 85.
Ma'am,
Right?
can I speak something?
Sure, please.
You know, the lady who just now spoke, she said she lost her father and then she was weighing a lot of things and all. That was my journey 34 years ago when I lost my dad at the age of 19. And just after I completed my studies, I went in for a beautiful course that was done by one of the professors from St. Joseph's Commerce College, Bangalore. It was the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And I followed it every single day and night. And I can tell you, it was a tough, difficult journey, but setting the goals and living and just being dedicated to what I wanted to achieve in life, that's how you can see that 100 now.
No wonder, Stella, you've got a score of 100.
Great, great. So friends, let's see what the scores are trying to tell you. They are an indication of your preparedness to live by your own design. So scores which are closer to 0 signify that you either do not have any goals in your life or your goals are not clear, right? Which means that there is no clear direction in your life. You're someone who likes to live each day as it comes with limited planning in life. As a result, you're struggling with your daily routine and there is constant stress. These scores signify that you are someone who believes in hard work. What that means is you need to put in more efforts to get your results as you're living a life without planning. While scores which are closer to 100 signify that you have clearly defined specific goals, which clearly mean that you have a focused approach in your life as you're using smart work to get success. What that means is with less effort, you're able to get more results through proper planning. And with the time saved, you're able to enjoy your life. What we say, achieving your goals with ease and joy. So that is what you believe in. So let us summarize this test for everyone in terms of what are those 3 critical aspects, which are actually delaying your success. Number 1 is when you do not have clearly defined goals. You see, friends, life without specific measurable goals is like driving a car with no destination, right? And that is a mistake that most of us are making, right? Number 2 is even if we have goals, there is no clearly defined action plan. And by an action plan, I don't merely mean having it in the head. It is a written action plan where you're absolutely clear in terms of what actions need to be taken, how they need to be planned out, how they need to be spaced out in order for you to reach your goals. And number 3 mistake that most of us end up making is even if we have goals, we are planning, but somewhere we are not tracking its progress. You see, tracking your progress allows you to see what is it that is missing in your actions, right? If your actions are actually delivering the desired results or not, in order for you to adjust them if required, right? And these are the 3 common mistakes that majorly most of us make, which actually result in us, delaying our success. So quickly, I'm going to ask the audience, which of these 3 mistakes, number 1, 2, or 3, are you making in your life? Or a combination of them? Let's have the audience reply in the chat box. Which of these mistakes are you making in your life? So Neha says number 1, not having goals. Kirti ma'am says too many goals. Okay, 2 and 3. Got it. So it's kind of a mix in the audience in terms of which of these reasons. So now, friends, treat this session today as more of an eye-opener, a mindful journey for you in terms of for you to understand what is it that is missing for you so that you can take the required actions accordingly. So now that you know, you can rectify it for yourself. So today we're going to simplify your life to help you achieve your goals with ease and speed using the 5 techniques for making your goals simple.
I'm going to ask you one simple question, Adarshi, before we move forward. How many goals should we have? Because when we are doing goal planning, is it like you just choose 2 to 3 of your top ones because you want to have goals for life, you have goals for health, you have goals for marriage, you have goals for family, you have so many different ones.
Right. So, ma'am, we need to understand that goals are nothing but stepping stones towards getting to the dream life that you envision for yourself, right? These are basically short-term targets that you set for yourself. And there is a difference between, focusing. When you focus on one at a time, you're more likely to achieve it with speed and reach your required destination much faster. Whereas if you scatter your energy across too many goals at the same time, you're not able to do justice and you're only delaying your success. So it is advised to take, focus on one goal at a time, accomplish it, and then move on to the next one. Because there's so many aspects of your life that need to be touched upon, right? And you need to set goals in each of them. But when it comes to priority, that is when we need to look into. And yes, so The more focused you are, take it one at a time and address every one of your goals as you go along. Great. So moving on, the number one reason is to be specific. Specific about your dreams, your desires, and the kind of life you want to have for yourself. You know, there was a study by the British Journal of Psychology, friends, and I want you to listen very carefully, which said that approximately 87% of the people who are unhappy in their lives are those who are not even clear about the kind of life they want to have for themselves. They are those who are just going with the flow, right? Consider a life without a clear purpose, like we mentioned before as well. It is like driving a car with no destination and no directions. When you do not have clearly defined directions in your life, you're going to be distracted and you're going to be moving in all directions, right? And then you will have to be satisfied with where you end up in your life, right? And that is why when we do not have clearly defined directions, we often end up getting dissatisfied with what life throws back at us when we are not clear ourselves what we want to achieve in our lives, right? And that's a mistake that most of us are making. When we're not clear where we want to go, we're going to be distracted in all directions and then we end up reaching nowhere, right? Which is why setting your goals is the first step of your success journey. Make sure that the importance of goal setting here, friends, is that it helps to give you the clarity that you're looking for, in terms of which direction you want to go to. It also provides you the motivation in your life, right? The kind of focus that you're looking for. Moreover, when you have goals in your life, it makes you accountable for your potential, accountable for your life and those around you as well. And setting your goals is the sure shot and the most effective way if you want to achieve your fullest potential. So friends, I invite all of you today to set your goals and see your life change. Make sure that when you're setting your goals, they are not vague. They must be specific, they're measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound if you are to accomplish your fullest potential. Number 2 technique is to break it down and start small. Now, how many of you find that your big goals are stressful? Please mention in the chat box, do you find your big goals are stressful? You can unmute and share your experience as well. So yes or no in the chat box, please. And why do you find your big goals stressful? So
Amita is asking, can we get this PPT? Well, we are very fortunate that we're able to do this live, but these are part of actually paid sessions that are done. So this will be on our website for the next 24 hours, and then it will be gone.
Don't worry, I'm going to be summarizing all of this in the end slide, and I'll be asking you to take a screenshot, which will help you going forward. So don't worry at all, right? So Vinita says yes, Tanushree says yes. Okay, not stressful, but taking first step sometimes is more difficult. I see, right. You see, friends, we are a generation where we're looking for quick results in our lives, right? We set our goals and, the moment we start taking action, we want to see immediate results happening in our lives, which what we need to understand is that there is no one giant step that takes us from where we are to our goals. It is this expectation of looking for shortcuts, which makes our goals stressful, right? Which is why we need to understand that goals, it is a step-by-step process. It is a step-by-step journey that one needs to take in order for you to get to your goals. And for this, instead of big steps, we need to understand the importance of small steps in our lives in order to make our goals less stressful. I'm going to explain this with the help of an analogy on the screen. So there is a yellow image on the right, which shows 2 staircases, the left one and the right one. Now, I want to ask you, friends, which of these 2 staircases is going to be easier to climb, the left one or the right one? So left or right, which is going to be easier to climb? Okay, so for those of you who are saying left, there seems to be unanimous response. For those of you who are saying yes, why is it the left one? I would like to ask you, why the left one is going to be easier for you to climb? Small steps, small leaps at a time. Absolutely, right? We sometimes ignore the importance of small steps in our life, right? That is the staircase which is going to take you faster to reach your goals. And that is something we do not, we often ignore. There are a lot of benefits that one gets, so as you understand, both of these staircases are taking us to our goals, right? These are basically our action steps towards our destination. But the one with smaller steps has a lot of advantages that one needs to be careful of. Why we need to select one with smaller steps. Number one benefit, it is much easier to start the climb. Now, why I say that is, I'm going to ask you all, how many of you deal with procrastination? So there was Meenu who said that sometimes taking the first step is most difficult, right? So how many of you deal with procrastination? If yes, please write in the chat box. So we have Sukirti ma'am, Amita, Nirja, Pauline. Right, most of us are dealing with procrastination. Friends, have you ever wondered what is the reason for that? Well, let me share with you. The most important reason why you all are suffering from procrastination is because the work or the step in front of you is difficult to climb. When the work in front of you is difficult and it allows you to really stretch your comfort zone is when your mind is going to give you multiple reasons to avoid the work and keep postponing it, what we call as procrastination. And that is what you end up doing when you're taking the staircase on the right, which has bigger leaps. Because it is difficult to start, you're going to keep procrastinating it, right? And that's the first benefit of having a staircase with smaller steps. You are much more likely to avoid the problem of procrastination by taking the first step. Number two benefit is, since the steps are small, they are easier to climb. Number three benefit, since it is easy to climb, it is much more faster to reach the top. And the last benefit, since it is easier to climb, you're less likely to give up midway, right? So that is the benefit and the importance that we need to keep in mind, friends. Now, the challenge of the two staircases you've understood, but the beauty of the situation here is that it is you who is the creator of this staircase. It is you who have the power to design the steps on this staircase yourself. Whether to keep the big ones or the small ones is a choice that you need to make. Now that you know the distinction between hard work and smart work when it comes to creating your action plans. So now that you know the difference between the two, friends, between hard work and smart work, all I would invite you to do is to choose wisely how you take on planning your actions going forward from here. So as we say,
that one question, Adishri, coming back to that last slide, do you first, when you're thinking about your action plan, but do you think about it in bigger chunks and then make it into smaller steps?
Absolutely. That's what
so you start with, the bigger staircase and then say, okay, let me focus on step number one now and say, okay, how do I break it down?
Right. So that's what the next slide actually addresses for you, ma'am.
Right.
So as we say by design, always think big, but start small. Break it down into milestones, break it down into small targets, which allows you to act fast and complete your targets quickly and reach the top with speed. I hope that answers your question, ma'am. Right. So always break it up. So don't see the entire staircase at once. Break it down into milestones, break it down, celebrate your accomplishments, celebrate your milestones as you go along. So you're enjoying the process and not getting stressed out with your goals. It's about celebrating each and every win which comes along the way. Great. Number three technique is to build a momentum. Now, how many of you wait for motivation to start? When the motivation will come is when I'm going to take the first step. How many of you find yourself dealing with this challenge in your life? Let's be honest here. So let's have you mention in the chat box, yes or no. If no, that's perfectly all right. Okay. Oh my goodness. Everybody seems to be on a yes. Okay. All right. Right. Friends, those of you who are waiting for motivation, have you ever wondered, what if it never comes? What are you going to do? Keep waiting for it? And that's a mistake, that's a trap and mistake that most of us end up making, because what we don't realize is most of us feel how motivation works is first we'll get motivated and then we'll take an action and then we'll be more motivated. However, how motivation really works is that you first need to get into a state of motion, into a state of action. Once you're in a state of action, it is much more likely for you to keep up the momentum of that journey, right? So instead of motivation, it is momentum that you need to focus on. Let me give you an example. Have you all seen a pendulum? A pendulum is stationary, but once you give it a simple push, it starts getting into a state of motion. And with that, it uses that motion to keep up the momentum and keep itself in motion. Let me give you a much more simpler example. How many of you know how to ride a bicycle? I think everybody does. Oh no. Right? What happens in a bicycle? It is the first pedal that you need to take in order to get into motion. Once you get into motion, it is much more easier for you. You'll get more comfortable being in motion, and then you'll be able to complete that journey that you're taking. Right? That is what you need to keep in mind, that instead of motivation, focus on building a momentum. And for that, what you need to do is take that first step to get into a state of motion. Now you may say, friends, Adishri, it is much easier said than done. How do I get started on that first step? Ye to batao. You have told us that first step is what we need to take. How do I do that? How do I overcome all those mindset barriers? Right? So friends, I'm going to be sharing with you techniques that you can use to just get started on that first step, to get into a state of motion. The first technique, which we shared previously as well, is to focus on starting small, right? The idea is just to get into a state of motion so that we can take it through, right? And for that, if you're struggling at any point of time, just see what is the smallest step that you can find to get started on a particular action that you need to take. So break down the action and find the smallest thing that you can to get started. Number 2 technique is to give up perfection. Now, how many people here are perfectionists? How many of you consider yourself to be a perfectionist in what you do? Yes, okay, ma'am. Who else? All right, so does Meena, Stella, right? All of us are dealing with perfectionism, right? What is perfectionism, friends? It is something which is without any flaw. Perfectionism means nothing but something or someone who's without any flaw. Now, I want to ask you all, is there any person or thing in this world which is without any flaw? When there is no such perfect person or thing in the world, then why are you making this unnecessary stress on yourself?
But one of the perfections that we Adishri always wait for is this right time. No, this quote unquote. Please give your views on that.
Absolutely. So right time will never come, ma'am. Right time will never come. You will have to make the time that you have in hand right for you to start. And for that, what you need to do is tell yourself, instead of waiting for the situation to be perfect, I want you all to just memorize what I'm saying right now. Instead of waiting for the situation to be perfect, start wherever you are. Use whatever resources you have and do whatever little action that you can to get started. That's all that you need to do. Have you ever realized once you get started on a course of action, automatically a lot of ideas come along the way, things start to fall into place, which otherwise at the beginning seemed like, they'll never fall into place. Let me wait for them to fall into place before I start. Right? Most of us deal with this situation. And it is in these times that we must tell ourselves, it is only about getting started. Things will automatically fall into place. Things will become perfect along the way. But if you wait for conditions, situations, resources to be perfect, that will never happen. Because now I hope we all understand there is nothing called as perfect.
Nirja is also asking a question, and you can decide whether you're going to take it now or it's going to come later. But many times, something or the other crops up, like health issues, something else. What should one do in such a situation? You've built up the momentum, you're ready to go, and boom.
I will just tell you to hold on to that question till the end of this session, because you're all going to get your answers. If not, I'm right here and I'll answer it for each one of you, right? So just go along with the flow. There's much to be covered, and most of your answers will get covered along the way, right? Okay, now the third technique is your brain will always discourage you from taking action. It will always, motivate you to be in your comfort zone, right? And the only way to trick it out of is that when you trick your mind to show that it is making progress. When you show your mind that you're making progress in your life, it will keep giving you that motivation or that momentum to keep forward, to keep moving forward. Right? Have you ever noticed when things are moving in your life, it keeps moving forward, good things keep happening, right? It's just about getting into a state of motion, showing your brain that you're making small goal-oriented wins every day. So whenever you find yourself getting stuck, just focus. What goal-oriented win? What little progress can I make today such that I can experience that progress and feel the motivation to continue with it? That's where you need to focus on. Fourth point is, sometimes when we are making a staircase of our action plan, it is sometimes not possible to see the entire staircase. At that time, all you need to do is view each day, as Sakirti ma'am also just said, view each day as a step on your journey. It will be easier for you to make progress. And for that, you need to ask yourself daily, what is that one step that I can take today to get closer to my goals? And friends, there will lie the answer to the momentum that you're looking for to get started. Wonderful. Any questions so far in terms of implementing what we've just discussed?
A couple of questions or comments. I'll just read them so that you can see when you want to take them. Pauline says some results are not in our hands, and that is what makes the situation more stressful. Poonama says the guest principle of law of attraction is imperative to remember all the time. And Amita says the law of gravity.
We're coming to those. We're coming to those. Absolutely. Wonderful. So the fourth point is to reflect daily. Now, how many of you reflect? So we are on Thursday? So we almost past the middle of the week. Now, I want to ask you, friends, how many of you track your progress daily? Let's be honest and mention. Great, Stella. Okay. Right. So for those of you who are saying no, why is it important to reflect daily on your progress? You see, by doing so, it allows you to see what is it that is missing in your actions so that you can adjust them accordingly. And why you need to do that? Because not all actions that you take are taking you closer to your goals. Some are just keeping you busy and occupied. And that is the trap that you must learn to avoid for yourself, which can only be done through a progress tracker. Now, distinguishing between being busy and productive is a common drawing room conversation, where all of us are debating whether you've been busy or productive. Let me start by asking the audience, in fact, what do you consider yourself, busy or productive? Please write in the chat box. What do you consider yourself? Are you a busy person or a productive person? Please don't say both. In that situation, just answer which one is the most common situation you find yourself in. Okay, all right. Got it. Thanks for sharing. Let me share with you, friends, a short clip which will help you effectively distinguish between the two concepts of being busy and being productive.
The difference between being busy and being productive. Being busy involves frantic work, while being productive is more focused. Being busy prioritizes the short term, while productivity is all about long-term priorities. Being busy is about working harder, while being productive is about working smarter. When you're busy, you're fueled by perfectionism, but when you're productive, you're fueled by purpose. Being busy means being good at everything, while being productive is about being great at a few things. Busyness is all about multitasking and shallow work, while being productive is about sticking to a single task and engaging in deep work. Being busy is rushed, while being productive is relaxed. You can't always avoid being busy. Life happens. Sometimes the urgent crowds out the important. But when we focus on the things that matter, we are more likely to be productive rather than busy.
Right. So now that we know the distinction between the two, friends, you have a choice. You can either continue being busy and working hard to delay your success, Or you can take the smart work route to success by being productive, which will help you reach your goals faster. It is a choice that you must make. All I would say is choose wisely. Fifth and the most important point, my friends, is mindset.
On because Stella is asking, kindly explain the meaning of deep work.
Deep work means deep concentrated work without any distractions. Focused work. So doing one thing at a time, giving your full attention and without any distractions. I hope that answers for you. Pleasure. So the fifth most important point is mindset matters. You see, sometimes all the distance that seems to be separating you from your goals is your mind. Because if you don't believe it possible for you to achieve your goals or what you want, you can work day and night, my friends, but you will never succeed. I saw a couple of you were mentioning about the law of attraction and law of gravity. This is exactly what we are talking about. You need to give power to your goals. You know, even in relationships, you need to respect the other person to be respected back, right? Similarly, with your goals, you need to respect them for them to respect you back. You need to trust yourself. You need to believe in yourself and your goals. Exactly, Meena. Thoughts become objects, right? So the more, focused and, aligned thoughts that you keep towards your goals, the more easy you're making it for yourself to achieve them. So it is a choice that you need to make. So as promised, here is a summary of the 5 keys for goal accomplishment. All of you, if you want to take a snapshot of this, you can take it on your phone and keep it as a wallpaper or on your desktop. Whenever you find yourself getting stressed in your life, daily routine, or getting off track, refer to these 5 points and see what is missing in your actions so that you can take the required actions. So number 1 key is to be specific. Specific about your dreams, your desires, and the kind of life you want to have for yourself. Being specific, having specific goals. Number 2 is to break down your goals into short-term milestones. Number 3 is to focus on building a momentum instead of motivation. Number 4 is to reflect daily on your performance to see what is missing. And 5th and the most important point is self-belief. So I'm going to ask the audience here, which of these 5 points are you going to take on going forward? Please mention in the chat box. You can write the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which of these 5 points are you going to take on going forward to implement in your life?
Don't we have to implement all 5? Is that a trick question? Because I'm like thinking, is she trying to trick us?
So let me rephrase it for you. Which of these do you find missing in your daily routine, which you're now going to take forward?
Purnima says, focus on what you want and not what you don't. You become what you think. What you focus on magnifies, choose your pick. Neha says momentum. Meena says all 5 my life needs. Sangeeta says 5. Amita says all. Pauline says reflect daily.
Right. You know, friends, I have some bad news for all of you.
Uh-oh.
Even though you know all these 5 points, you're in for a bigger trap in your life. Are you guys interested in knowing what that trap is? Or we can just end the session right here?
No, absolutely. We have to know. No.
Let's have some responses in the chat box. Would you be interested in knowing, you might have all the knowledge in the world, even of these 5 important techniques, but there is a bigger trap which awaits you even after this knowledge. Even after you have my presentation, there will be nothing that you can do with it. Right? And why I say that? Okay, so here it goes, since you're all saying yes. Friends, the trap is that it doesn't matter what you know. It is execution which matters the most. Till the time you do not use your knowledge in your life, all the knowledge that you have accumulated in your life so far, till the time you do not use it, you're not going to see the results that you're looking out for. And that's a trap that most of us are getting into without even knowing. We're collecting all the knowledge, everything, but we're not using them to get the results. As Dale Carnegie, the famous Dale Carnegie, a management guru, says, knowledge has no power unless it is applied. So it is time to convert this knowledge into action, right? And for that, it's time to convert all the motivation of today's session into actions. And with that, I pose the next question to you, my friends, which is, how do you plan to use the knowledge of today's session in order to create results in your life? Please unmute and share. Absolutely. No idea works until we work on it. So how do you plan to work on this? Please unmute and share. It'll be much easier for you to explain.
If somebody wants to raise their hand, we'll unmute them.
Yes, please.
Go ahead, Meena.
Yes, thank you so much. I guess I got already enlightened after this entire session. So I will start making, I will be specific towards my goal, and I will start taking the action, and I will make smaller goal, like one thing at a time. Earlier I was taking so many things at a time, and that's why I guess I was exhausted. But now this session has helped. I will focus on one task one time, and I will work my 100% on that, and then I will move into the next one. Thank you.
Got it. Thank you for sharing. Who else? How do you plan to use this knowledge? Friends, you not sharing.
Pauline is great. Silky wants to. I'm going to unmute her. Pauline says a to-do list with more specific tasks. Go ahead, Silky.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for the wonderful session. Actually, when and the great thing is when I was filling that assessment part. So that time, actually, I realized that I even I don't have that in written format. What actually I want to do. I always feel stressful that I'm not doing well. My things are not happening. What I'm doing and what I want from my life is entirely different. But, I realized that I am feeling very shame while, telling my score what I got. So it is a kind of eye opener for me, that test assessment. And thank you so much for that thing. I could not tell you like how important that thing was for me, because I am suffering from this feeling, that I'm not doing well. I'm not at the place where I want to be. And if I would tell you, I didn't take a single step for that. So everything is in my mind. Like I used to assume the things, I used to imagine the things that I will do it, I will do it, I will do it. And at the end of the day, I used to think that things are not happening. So my first key learning from this session is, today itself, I will write down my action plans. And after that, I'll try to get this clarity from within, that what actually I want to do in first. Like I have 3 to 4 big dreams, I could say, that are like actually small, but in the way, if I would see, so they are different 5 things which I really want to do. And firstly, I would write down all the things. After that, I'll decide that for which thing I am going to start. So accordingly, like it's
Nice.
eye opener for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. I think it kind of encapsulates very beautifully the points that we're trying to drive home. So, the kind of mindfulness we want to bring about to the audience. So thank you for sharing.
Go ahead, Amita. You wanted to share? Prasanna, you wanted to share too. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, Kirti, ma'am, can I talk now?
Yeah, please do.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. And it was an enlightening session, Ms. Adishri. Thanks for that. So, I'm actually an assistant professor, and I'm really trying hard to submit my thesis. I'm on the verge of completion. Since 6 months, I'm unable to find time to write my thesis, complete my thesis. So now I'm very clear after this session. I have thought of like within a month or so, I'll daily retrospect what I'm doing, and I'll complete by my deadline is June 30th. So I'm thinking like instead of going for the next sem, I'll complete it within this sem. So
That
that's
is
where,
awesome. And
yeah.
please write to us, and we want to know when you have done it so we can also cheer for you.
Thank you, ma'am. Sure, I will.
Wonderful. I'm so happy with the kind of impact this is already driving home.
Amita, go ahead, and then Nirja.
Yeah, good evening, Adishri. Thank you, Sukriti. Wonderful opportunity. I was just listening to all of this. In short, I've just started my venture. So I should say, think small, plan big, and it leads to execution. But when I'm executing, I feel sick. So I'm on a standstill now. I've just recently started my venture. So all of your ideas and all what you've told is all in place. You start from small and then you build it up. So everything was going fine. When I felt sick for execution, I felt sick. So how do I proceed now? I'm getting back well. I'll be meeting the doctor soon. So how can I go about it now? And I'm going to start in shortly. So, ma'am, I would want some way out of this. How could you help me to use this?
I'm sorry, I didn't follow your question. Could you just repeat it, summarize it for me?
Yeah, I felt sick, so I've got everything in place as I'd mentioned. But now, how do I start back again?
Start by giving up perfection, first of all.
I have the perfection, but I need a little more, ma'am. I need a little more, Anrita, about this.
Okay.
It's all there in place. I'm a lot better. I just have to meet the doctor now in a few days' time. So after that, it will take some time for me to unwind. So I have all these things in place, but is there anything, how do I get back?
Right. So like I said, the first step that I can suggest to you is giving up perfection. If you're still dealing with it, we also have a division called Business by Design, wherein we work with companies and ventures. So you can get in touch to know more about it.
And just, Amita, just start with what you want to do. So just plan, what are you going to do tomorrow to achieve your goal? I think what Adishri put very well. What is that small step that you're going to take tomorrow? Yes, you will. You're better. So what is that step you're going to take tomorrow? Go ahead, Nirja.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was an amazing session, and thank you for it. Now, what I face is, I know I need to reach certain goals. And as I'm working towards it, as Amita had put it, I had also been unwell. To cut it short, there was a block in my life. I had a memory loss, and I have recovered from that. Recently, we have shifted the house also, and I want to get back into my work. I want to start off with writing work, if not into actual teaching now. But what is happening is I have too many tasks at hand, which is confusing me as to what to take up. And even if I want to do simultaneously, there are blockages, in between. So how do I overcome that? I had put in the question, I think with Sukirti had read it earlier also. And Adishri had said, we'll take it up in the end. So you want to do it. And
the end. Okay, I'll answer it for you. Great. No, but I let me go forward. You would be able to find your answers.
Okay.
Great. So friends, now coming to the implementation part. See, most of us, I've heard all your questions. Somewhere, even after knowing what needs to be done, the struggle still remains to implement in a structured way. Now, what if you had an action tool which provides you a scientifically proven action method, which gives you a step-by-step action plan to set your goals, and from goal setting to goal success, such that you start seeing results in just 13 weeks. Would you be interested in knowing of such an action tool? Yes or no, you can write in the chat box. An action tool which can provide you a simple step-by-step action plan to incorporate all of these 5 techniques into your daily routine, such that you can accomplish your goals more powerfully. All right, thank you for your response. So friends, introducing that action tool for success, which is India's first goal-focused planner, the Live by Design Goals Journal. It is a planner to help you design your life with greater clarity and control. It provides you, like I said, with a step-by-step action path that you can follow to accomplish your goals. How is it different from the regular planners? You must be wondering, Adishri, what makes it stand apart? You see, the regular planners that we get are generally blank pages and calendars and fancy designs, right? They're empty pages that you need to fill up yourself. Whereas the goals journal has a result-oriented, complete designed action system in it, which has complete goal setting exercises, daily action plan, weekly reviews, complete templates of action planning that you can take up yourself. It is designed for smart work. So it is a combination. It is your personal organizer, which allows you to stay on top of your goals by helping you track your progress, organize your actions, and plan your results. So for those of you who are struggling with focus and time management, well, the goals journal has been designed keeping in mind the focus and time management strategies, which allow you to keep yourself on track of your goals. That is the very foundation of the design of the goals journal. So it's a complete designed action system. There are no empty pages. And it is available on our website, which is livebyDesignGoals.com. And these are the two that we have. And that's, if you wish to know more about it, it is, you can read up on our website. Now, if you're wondering who is it for, whether you're a business owner, a professional, a homemaker, a job seeker, or a student, if you're looking to set a goal and looking for an action plan which can help you take you through this journey, it is the goals journal that you can use. It can also be a thoughtful gifting idea to your friends and family, a gift that you will be remembered for by making a difference in somebody's life. Quickly, the last point that I have, we have a special offer when you purchase the Goal Planner today, which is we're offering the couple of freebies along with the purchase, which is 2 training videos, which will help you in setting your goals and customizing the goals journal for your own dreams and desires. There would be a personal one-on-one session with me for 30 minutes, wherein all your queries can be answered and addressed, and also a review session to ensure that you're on track of your goals and if you require any further support. So all of these come complimentary once you purchase the goals journal today on our website. Would you be interested in seeing the inside pages? Or you can.
I think we have, we are now out of time.
I think you can see it on our website if you are interested. So friends, I would just like to end by saying you have a choice at the end of the day. You can either continue to live by your current default mode and delay your success, or you can choose to live by design and accelerate your success journey. It's a choice that you need to make. All I would say is choose wisely.
Purnima had a question. Go ahead, Purnima.
Yes, please.
Purnima, go ahead. We asked her to unmute again.
Could you please unmute her?
I am.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
I cannot articulate as well as you do, but I'm not certain if it is out of context. I have been reading a lot about law of attraction. You know, you need to work on so many things like your business, your job, your health, your family, so on and so forth. So we need to unlearn things. The challenge that I face is that the people that I'm surrounded with they're not thorough with law of attraction, and it becomes, you know, you stay in a family, they do not understand where are we coming from, and they are not willing to change. And how do we convince them how to overcome this obstacle, to be able to convince the family members or the people that you're surrounded with?
Got it. Thank you for your question, Purnima. So you see, like I said at the beginning of the session, there are certain aspects of your life that are within your control, and there are certain aspects of your life that are not within your control. It is a choice, like one of us also said, what you focus on expands. So it is a choice that we need to make in terms of which of those aspects we want to focus on, the ones that we can control or the ones that we cannot. I hope that answers your question.
Not really. Can we do something about it? You know, I tried writing applications.
You can't change others. You can just work on yourself.
We need to move forward together.
So show them, one way would be kind of talk to them, right? But at the end of the day, you focus on what you can control to make life much more simpler and manageable for yourself. That way you'll end up seeing faster results as well. That's a promise.
All right.
Okay. So guys, quickly, I'm just going to say, follow us on our Instagram, social media pages. And for those of you who wish to get in touch with us, that is our contact details. Our website is livebydesigngoals.com. So feel free to get in touch for any queries that you may have.
Any other questions before we wrap up for today? Would love to take any questions if anybody has them. And so we could probably take one question. All right. I think we've got a crowd that's contemplating. So what are your closing thoughts, Adishri? What is the last words that you'd like to leave everybody with today?
As I said, I mean, there are things that you can control and things that you cannot. You know, a lot of sharings which has been done in today's session clearly signifies that, you know, we are open to change, which is beautiful. I think the session has delivered its entire intent of creating that mindfulness in all of you guys regarding the importance of goal setting and how it is very important to focus on things that we can control. So friends, live your life by design, choose and make it a choice so as to empower yourself and achieve the dreams that you want to achieve for yourself. That's all I would say. All the very best to all of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And just a reminder, we have some exciting also sessions coming up. We've got Skin Sense, a very different, it's our Dr. Kiran's Guide to Being Beautiful. So she's one of the biggest derms. She treats a lot of celebs. So very lucky. You can ask her all your health, body and mind questions. So she also talks a lot about food, and we're talking a lot about well-being. So we are on 12th of May, we're doing sustained and holistic well-being with Bach flower therapy. I don't even know what it is. So I'm so excited to learn. So that's awesome. So I hope all of you, and I'll be seeing all of you. But for those of you that have taken away some goals, some whatever, some small step, please do share with us either on Instagram or on Facebook or on LinkedIn, because it will help us to make sure that we also know that these sessions are making just a little bit of difference in your life. And we hope that these are those small motivations that we can also get. So with that, I wish you all a very, very good night.